So one of my first experiences with pivoting, which led me on to realizing this may be something that other people struggle with as well, was in my first business. When I first started my business, I left my corporate job and I got up all the nerve in the world to start a health coaching business. I just gotten certified in health, and it was the thing that I could see in front of me that I was so excited to do. However, when I got into it, I really struggled with a lot of the pieces about it. I struggled to get clients. In the beginning, I was traveling, and so I was working around the clock, like taking calls at 1 a.m. In the middle of the night. Oftentimes, I felt like as much as I loved my client relationships, it felt a little bit heavy, as an introvert to always be on the phone all day, every day, and often on really like complex emotional food relationship related things. So there was a lot about it that I loved and a lot about it that I thought, I don't know, I'm feeling a little bit misaligned here. And so I got to the point where I decided to just take a step back and look at what was working and what I felt like could shift. And what I realized is the days that I enjoyed most and felt like I was really in my flow were the days when I was more heads down, working on creative projects for my clients, maybe writing a blog post to educate them, or an email, or working on a course or something like that. That's where I felt like I got to just put on my creative cap, truly feel like my energy rising throughout the day instead of draining, and I could do it from anywhere. Which was amazing for my lifestyle at the time, as I was full on digital nomading all across the world, and having calls was, difficult. I was willing to do it, happy to do it, but it was challenging to be taking calls at all hours of the night and changing that every single week as I moved. So that was my big aha, that maybe there's something to pivot to here. And I slowly started taking on more of those kinds of clients, like the writing clients, working on creative projects. And that really took off. It ended up becoming my next business, and one that grew much more quickly and more effortlessly than the first one. I built a team, I grew an agency, and was able to work with all different kinds of brands in the health space and beyond for their content type of education needs. However, the harder part for me was really letting go of that first business. I felt so much shame, even though I now had something that was working. I felt a lot of shame and embarrassment around making a change, around announcing my new plans, around letting go of one vision to make room for the next. And so that's where I really started to do this work around pivoting, and to start to see if there was another way I could look at it. I could make peace with it. I could see it as part of my journey and evolution. And so that's what I'm going to share with you in the following videos. But first, I invite you to think about, if you're here watching this, what's the reason? Is there a situation in your life when you're feeling called to something different, but you're hesitating, you're feeling shame, you're feeling fear, maybe you feel like you've been in one certain career path or industry for so long, maybe something's not working in your business and you want to make a change, maybe something's not working in corporate and you want to make a change to business, maybe there's something in a relationship, in your health. It doesn't really matter, it all is welcome. And all of this will apply no matter the situation that you may feel called to pivot in. But I want to welcome it in and just start off with getting clear on what's the situation that brings you here. You're not alone. I've been through so many of the ones that I just listed off. And so let's get talking about how to rework the mindset around pivoting and some practical strategies to do so.